to the display by this wonderful fast jet for the 2025 display season from number 29 Squadron, the Eurofighter Typhoon FGR4, in the hands of Squadron Leader Nathan Scheuer. That vapour to come off the top of the wings. That's caused by relatively low pressure above the aircraft, which in fact cools the air to below its dew point, and the vapour that's in the water that's in the air becomes visible. Time now for 5 aileron rolls on the next pass, 1890 degrees of roll. Lateral rolling like that really does send the inner ear into a bit of spin. Quite often, pilots would then do a roll in the opposite direction just to calm the fluid down, but not Nathan. Inbound barrel roll. Position for a negative -3 G-turn. We really get the feeling, don't we, here, of the power of the two Eurojet EJ200 turbofan engines when they're in afterburner, able to power the aircraft to a maximum speed of twice the speed of sound. Those engines in full reheat give a beautiful orange colour, which is very nicely contrasted by that dark cloud. Straight in front of us for a loop. really likes negative G, whereas the rest of the population tend to avoid it, there being no G suit in the world that can protect you from negative G. So this time positioning for the high-speed pass, we've had a change in regulations this year that have moved the maximum speeds to 0.95 or 600 knots, whichever is reached first. So from the left, the high-speed pass. Typhoon 4. He also holds a bit of a place in RAF history because he was the last new pilot to convert onto the Tornado GR4 before it was retired from service in early 2019. Setting up here for the slow speed pass. This configured aircraft with its delta wing and canard is much more aerodynamically efficient at high alpha manoeuvres because both the wings and the canard are producing lift for the airframe. Very nicely on 45 degrees to the ground. Airspeed of about 110 knots. Sets up for an inverted burner brake. That is highly unusual. They'd like to say thank you to their industry partners and supporters, including BAE Systems, Leonardo, Rolls-Royce, Toomey Leasing Group, Breitling, Runway 25, Air Covers, Lincolnshire Tea and Coffee Company, and Needham's Workwear. And we should say, Mark, that the aircraft was performing here on sustainable aviation fuel like the red arrows we saw earlier. Yeah, so majority of RAF aircraft have been able to go on a blend of sustainable aviation fuel for roughly the last decade. It was developed initially in the continental US, and when I was part of the Release to Service Authority, we signed off the vast majority of aircraft that were likely to travel to the US in order for them to take a blend of sustainable aviation fuel. SAF is a certified jet fuel, also known as Jet A1 in the civilian world and ABSA in the military world. But on a molecular level, SAF is virtually identical to fossil-derived fuels. But it's made using a range of renewable components such as cooking oil, fats, plant oil, agricultural forestry waste and so on. The majority of SAF is still a blend of this biomass and fossil fuel, but ultimately it has the potential for it to
And I'd also like to say that the Typhoon display this year is raising money for a charity very close to RIAT's heart, Flying Scholarships for Disabled People, which the late Paul Bowen and our current Vice President, the show's former director Tim Prince, set up in 1983 as a memorial to Group Captain Sir Douglas Barr. The FSDP allows people with a